your titles are the equivalent of a death metal band's logo.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Perfect.
Do we want to keep following this line? I'd rather go into your album.
Can go into the album. I want to say to you, and you know how recovery goes. I am not the person you met 2 years ago. It's really great to be talking to you like I know you now. My life was going really great when I met you. It is going beyond great. And it's been with very little of me mucking it up with my own, trying to fix and manage control outcomes, dude. It's amazing what's been happening with this music and just my life in general. My overall attitude as it relates to streaming and all the other things that we all get frustrated about. Just letting it go, man. Just remembering we do this because we can't not do it. That's why we're doing this. All of us. I talked to Carl, Adam, is it Adam? From Black Sunrise, I've communicated very little bit, but through social media. Of course, Colin and I go back and forth. We all know why we're doing this. We're doing this because we can't not do it. But sometimes it's easy to forget and get roped into that, the streaming and the this and the that, and is this right? Is that wrong? What am I doing? Blah, blah, blah. No, we do it because we have to do it. Have to. So it's just been great. It's been pretty cool.
Yeah. But doesn't a part of you wish you had, started writing, I don't know, country pop songs? I can see you with the Stetson, the cowboy
I can do it. Here's the thing. And I can keep them guessing. And I think you know this. I have a solo album. And it's singer-songwriter stuff. It came out before Bware of Gods. I do all of it. And I can do it. And you know what? I probably will because I can. Why not? But
I need that album.
Oh, by the way, I like to keep them guessing. From the neck up, I look like a gentleman. Arguably, this could, though, be called the Golden Age of America haircut, which I absolutely have no desire to go back to. But I like to keep them guessing.
You do have a certain Rick Beato affect to you right now.
Yeah, and then I talk like this. Let me tell you something.
Oh, Brooklyn, I love it. I love it.
Is it bad if I swear? Probably, right?
So here's the thing on swearing. Go ahead. The unedited version goes somewhere.
My character, the guy, he's like, let me tell you something. Yeah, fuck that Spotify. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so a little bit of Andrew Dice Clay here. You just need play. You need the cigarette and the black leather jacket. Well, I'll take the F-bombs out. I don't want to be deplatformed.
But you know what Phil Jackson told the Bulls? He told them, just play. Just play. Don't look at the scoreboard. Just play. And, of course, some of them looked at him like a deer in headlights, and look what they did. They won 3 championships.
That's easy to say when you have Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, but, hey, a lot of ego, though. And you got to don't look at the scoreboard. I mean,
okay. So you're not, I'm looking at your scoreboard, Mooger Fooger. Like, you've got people buying this album.
Yeah, I do.
You've got pre-orders.
Yeah, I do.
Are you doing vinyl?
Not a lot. But see, that's the thing. It doesn't matter, all that stuff. Like, the fact that it's even happening, the fact that I personally am alive. See, you got to understand about me, like, this project is an amend. Amend means to change. It's a heal. It's for me. Like, I fell into a very dark hole for about 13 years and I wasn't playing music anymore. I didn't think I'd ever play music again.
Right.
So Bware of Gods specifically is an amend to myself, to the little Jason. We're going to have fun. We're going to make the music we always wanted to make. Always.
And you've made such a delightfully light and bouncy record. I think every time I listen to, what's the one specifically? Some of this shit's too much for me, by the way.
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
Like, The Science of Slow Moving Monsters is just a
Yeah.
little. Hey, I knew you'd love that one. My jam is DIE Sect.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That's actually my
I
favorite
love
track.
that. I love
Yeah,
it.
that's my favorite track. And
Just so
and
you
all,
know, I don't have an advanced copy of this. I don't have the whole album available to me, so I'm like everybody else out here. I have to wait until a week from.
no, you don't have to. I should have sent you the Sampley link. If anyone knows what Sampley is, it's great. Brad Boatwright, if anyone knows who he is, he mastered this. Um, he's worked with a lot of pretty well known and unknown. I mean, he does everything, but bands in the
No,
metal.
and unless I get the complete release in Wave or FLAC, I can't do anything with it. It's just
Waves.
my
Waves.
workflow. My
Yeah.
workflow. It's all digital. I don't do MP3s.
No,
Don't
I
even
this
don't even
album-
bother. So I download. So instead of using a spreadsheet like Rich Piva, I use my Rune system. Which, if you were to buy it today, it'd be like $900. It's insane. Okay.
So here, but real quick, but Brad Boatwright, when he mastered it, he sent me a link to this Sampley thing, and so it's got the album on there. It's pretty cool, and so it's a private link, right? So you can just send it to who you want to send it to. Kind of surprised he didn't send it to you, so that
I'll make an exception. The mastering on this is pretty.
What?
Yeah, we need to talk, dude.
Oh, it's loud.
Okay, so
it's
here's my
too loud, but I'm trying to kill demons, man. I'm trying to kill monsters in my head.
How much time have you spent playing Dark Souls on a PS5?
I don't play games, dude. I never did.
I'm telling you. So here's my tagline for Bware of Gods. It's the Dark Souls of Stoner Doom and really heavy stuff. And what I mean by that is you have a lot of lore. There's a lot of lore involved here.
Oh, yeah.
And for whom is it? By the way, your titles, I struggle with those. Upon whom the light descends one.
Yeah, last like this. It's very pretentious. Oh, yes.
Why? So you do that deliberately.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I do. Here, this is cool. Real quick. So I don't really know, and this isn't in the Doom area, but I've always been very perplexed by the band Ghost, which isn't a band. I mean, it's Tobias Forge, and it's guys that he hires, and that's fine because that's what I'm going to have to do.
But can we just go on the record of saying the people he hires are world-class musicians? World-class.
Yeah. So you'll let me, because you'll get this. I've been perplexed by them, and perplexed by him in general. I mean, for a long time. And I wouldn't call myself a fan. I mean, I'm not against it. But it's just not something I seek out. However, they're very popular. So they pop up in my feeds, or they pop up in, I stream on Apple, and I'm perplexed by it. And I'll ask myself, like, I should hate this, yet I don't hate this. Like, what's going on? And what I've come to figure out is, like, in a sense, I think it is kind of mock rock a little. And he's very deliberately, is what I'm saying. It's very deliberate. Every choice is deliberate. I mean, the new song I just heard today, I mean, if a band brand new came out trying to do what he was doing, they would be laughed out of the. I mean, dude, it would not. They would not. It is the cheesiest, most dated song I have heard from a major artist in a really long time, and yet I love it because I know he did that on purpose. So what I'm saying is I kind of mock too a little bit, like with these long titles. It's kind of like the heady, like the subtitle, in the part one. I have fun with it.
Your titles are the equivalent of a death metal band's logo.
Yeah.
It's obtuse.
Perfect.
But it works. It works. Like that's not a criticism. It's part of the joy. So my thing about Bware of Gods, one, I have to be in the mindset to do it. Right?
Sure.
And with all due respect, releasing in May when the flowers are blooming and the butterflies are out and the hummingbirds are, you did that to, this is a late October, November,
Right.
like, oh, just kind of bury yourself into the.
Sure.
So,
But,
one,
but, film reference, Midsommar. See the juxtaposition, horror in the sunlight. See, oh, there's a song title. See, we're already doing it.
okay, we now have
We're
Upon
trying
Whom
to
the Last Light Descends, Part
see
3.
horror in the sunlight, not horror. Although
So,
that,
so because we're good, I consider us good friends. I mean, we chat. We
absolutely, man.
sometimes I know I piss you off sometimes, and you know that's when you get to know me, that's what you put up with. But
Yeah, but I'm
the
learning.
audience
It's a learning curve.
the audience doesn't know. So can you give us, you know, the lore? Give us the, you know, unlike Dark Souls that throws you out there and there's no map.
Right.
That's what Beware of Gods is like. So can you give
Yeah.
us a little bit of a
Yeah.
where it began and where it is?
Yeah. So where it began was actually, so the project was originally called I Nomad, as in I Nomad. And this is kind of what happens with me. I get these, what I just call them downloads. I don't know. They just happen, you know, and I
You're
get
so
like,
cyber.
kind of, yeah, dude. Well, I've had the conversation about with folks about whether we live in a simulation or not. The reality is we all live in a simulation individually. I mean, this is a computer, and it's just, there's always like these downloads. And one of them was the song It Sleeps from part 1. And that all of a sudden I was like, I Nomad. And I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. Well, then, of course, I have to start thinking about it. And I figure out that NOM, gnome, is French for name. And then I'm thinking AD, after death. Oh, I Nomad. I am named after death. Well, what's that about? Well, it's the death of self. It's the death of the ego. Because this character, this protagonist, I Nomad, is projecting out into his external world, much like a simulation, a horror show that he is not aware that he's the author of, which is also metaphorical to my own recovery and from alcoholism. And because if in my case, I just learn more and more every day that most of the things I'm worrying about are of my own making. Although we all know there are things to be concerned about. But he creates this shape-shifting, looming dread. And it shows up in different characters throughout the narrative. But it started as I Nomad, and then I was like, ah, man, there's too many. Nomad's a trope for sure. And it's a trope because it works within the Doom genre, subgenres, the nomads, of course, sleep, the nomads in the desert, all that stuff. So I was like, that's not going to work. So then I was thinking of House of Locusts, which is the fifth song on part 1. And I don't know, my buddy Tom sent me a poem about Cortez and about what happened when Cortez reached the shores of Mexico. The natives, the indigenous folks, had never seen ships like that before. So their eyes literally could not process what was coming. They did not see the ships until they were pretty close to shore. And they thought that they were gods. And little did they know that these gods were here to kill them. So hence, beware of gods. And then, of course, what that can be a metaphor for all kinds of things. I mean, in my case, it's beware of the gods between your ears.
Okay.
You know, all that stuff. This is right. This is wrong. Why am I doing this? I've talked to so many creatives either in or not in recovery, and it always comes up. What am I doing with my life? Like, you know, the overblown ego, that God that just tells you that everything you're creating is the greatest thing ever. And, and then, of course, the gods on the hill. The gods on the hill, beware of those gods. The song Temple of Thieves on part 2 is talking a lot about that. But I liked Beware of Gods. I really liked it a lot. And I didn't come up with it. My buddy Tom did. And so I asked him, I said, I will pay you for that name. I don't have a lot of money. And he's one of my best friends, fellow musician. He's like, no, dude, like take it. Take it. So then we went with Bware of Gods, which is awesome because it's bog, and bog turns out to be a Serbian word for God. So this whole thing becomes meta modern very quickly. The thing and the thing and the
Well,
other.
well, we don't have to go that esoteric though,
I know.
because you also have like there's quite bog is also to be bogged down. I mean, we've got bog wizard. There's quite a few like weed eater based stoner doom. So there's so many multiple meanings here, and bog simply it just works.
Oh, it's so great. Such a great word. So, but then musically, I always wanted to do this. This is long standing. Like, I mean, I had my original idea going back 20 plus years was a project called, I was going to call it either Swamp Chapel or Swamp Lord. Um, and, I wanted to do more of the southern tinged kind of deal. Like I've been to New Orleans. I got bit by some of that stuff, and I wanted to incorporate like some of that flavor like with stoner doom. Um and then I just never did it. And then, it was in the middle of COVID, and I was on fire. I just got these downloads, and then I started listening to just a bunch of different stuff that I don't know. I don't know if I missed it or was ignoring it, but like Thou showed up. The band Thou showed up for me. Mesa was one of them. And then kind of digging into the stuff I already did know, like COC and Down. It just happened. And I was like, you know what? This is what I want to do. And it felt like freedom. And it still feels like that. Um, the guy, I forget his name from Temple of the Fuzzwitch. I watched that. What he said about
Oh,
just the
on Heavy Underground Farm Report.
yeah, just the freedom of it. There's just something so freeing. Like it's so open. I mean, it's what you can do. I mean, I know there's those that wouldn't think that. If they're looking at it from the bird's eye view, they think, what's so freeing about it? You're just playing the same thing, blah. But no, I mean, my stuff's a little more progressive than traditional Doom for sure. But I mean, it's so wide open. I mean, I just feel like we can do whatever we want, really. I mean, and I hadn't felt that in other metal projects. I've been in a few bands,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and yeah, it was just limiting. And quite frankly, to keep it simple, I wanted to detune my guitar. I just wanted to. How low can we go?
How low did you go on this one?
So the C standard is where it starts, and then we drop C to once in one track, G, I believe, or it might be G sharp. And then we drop to A. Temple of Thieves, that in particular, and a song off the new album called here's another long title, kids. Submerged by the Ghost of a White Whale. That one's got a real weird tuning that I always kind of get confused when I explain it. But basically, the sixth and the fifth string, between the sixth, fifth, and fourth string, we're creating the tritone is there, like just in the open tuning of those three strings, and then when you hit just traditional finger positionings, you get these really weird chords and. That happened by accident too, and that's just been a blast.
So,
Sorry.
but there's a lot about this album. I think the first thing that I heard, and again, just to remind folks, I haven't been able to hear the whole thing. I've got the 3 from the pre-sale. Hold on.
Yeah.
I end up with this old man white pasty stuff.
Yeah.
And I look at it 2 years later, I'm like, what the? Anyway, I thought that upon whom the last light descends one. Is there an acronym for that? Oh, no, there really isn't. Old one.
Well,
that was pretty dark. And it was
disagree with you.
Huh?
H.P. Lovecraft would disagree with you. I mean, look at all his weird words. You could say it, like the way you just said it. That was very
Uld,
Lovecraftian. I like that.
Uld,
Yeah,
Uld. It's like sweet. It's like
yeah.
Norwegian
There you
darkness.
go. There you
So
go.
part
Nice
one
job.
was because I don't come from the background of the heavy industrial, stuff. Ministry, Psalm 69 is about as far as I went with that. So it really hit me hard. I thought it was so dark. I couldn't imagine getting even more discorporeal, like disembodied than what you had in that. And then Amnesia Island, it's like if Voidvod were on extreme mushrooms and speed.
You are amazing. And there's many reasons I love you, but that right there, you don't even know. Voidvod, if you were to ask me, that's a foundational influence.
Yeah.
Voidvod changed me as a musician, as a guitar player in the heavy metal realm from the jump. And that goes back a long time.
Oh, yeah. And I hear that they're like, I need to do an analysis of bands that influence Stoner Doom who are absolutely not Stoner Doom. And there's a couple. I have to put up 9 Inch Nails, who 9 Inch Nails bleeds deep in this album. Like, and I mean that as a compliment. Like 9 Inch Nails, to me, I always wanted them to be as heavy and extreme as people said they were. Right. But I listened to it and I'm like, really? And I'd go back to Ministry. This one you have taken. It's like you're the bastard child of Voivod and Trent Reznor, and you come like out going.
No, wait. Can I intersect real quick?
Of course.
This is important because, and I appreciate this because like when you're reading reviews, you're reading a review like that. There's no opportunity to like kind of. Explain something. So 9 Inch Nails has been showing up. So there's a couple of things that have to be addressed. So number one, I was in a band called O3. O3 is an extra whatever molecule of, I think, hydrogen. Maybe it's oxygen. Either way, it's the ozone. How highbrow. And I was already doing it back then, and I'm going to be releasing that eventually, re-releasing that. But my good friend Alex Stilts, who goes by the name Feederwire, was my guitar player, but he does a lot of electronic music. He is absolutely amazing. He is a mad lunatic genius with the stuff that he does. So I really wanted him to be, he was somewhat involved with part 1, but I wanted him to have a larger role on part 2. So when you say 9 Inch Nails, some of that from me, most of that from him. But here's what I really want to clarify. It's actually not 9 Inch Nails. And we can thank Trent Reznor for never giving credit to who actually made him who he is. It's called Skinny Puppy. And that's a fact. Olger and Jorgensen from Ministry brought Trent Reznor to Chicago from Cleveland and taught him everything that he knew that became the foundation that thwarted him into 9 Inch Nails. I'm not taking anything away from Trent Reznor. I love the guy. I love him. And I really like the work that he's done with Atticus Ross. But in terms of my buddy Feederwire, what you're really hearing at its deepest root is Skinny Puppy.
Well, that's like my branch of the heavy underground where Tool, right? Tool would be the equivalent of Trent Reznor. What you're really hearing is King Crimson, kind of a hybrid of the classic 73, 72 lineup with the 81 Discipline lineup, where they've just gone completely over. So, and I love how that works. A lot of reviewers, and I despise this, they act all snooty and raucous, and I'm like, man, that's how things happen. If we didn't have a single cell creature, we wouldn't have plankton, we wouldn't have fish, we wouldn't have, it's called evolution.
Great
and it's the same way with Sabbath. My disagreement with the Sabbath, though, is everybody says it's Sabbath worship, and I'm like, Wait a minute. What about Laurie S. and Acid King? It definitely elevated that. Um,
100%. 100%.
Kaya, sleep, etc. It's not Sabbath worship. It's, I mean, Iommi never used a fuzz pedal. He just overdrove his Laney amp.
No. No, but yeah, but in terms of that thing that what I love about what Feederwire did is that this is the point where we move kind of from more of an analog, uh, more fleshy, meaty darkness, for lack of a better way to put it. Amnesia Island, we're moving into arguably, it's kind of like a prop. I mean, it's a lift in a certain sense, I guess, from the Matrix concept. But it's like, is this real or not? And the idea of Amnesia Island, this narrative, this character is me. It's autobiographical. It's metaphorical of the journey from nearly dying from at your own hand, unknowingly. But at your own hand through whatever it is, addiction, obsession, whatever, to coming out of that. And so that's why, like, you'll hear it in the intro piece to Amnesia Island. The protagonist is being tapped on the shoulder by what he thinks is a different character. He thinks is maybe more of like a godlike type creator character, which it turns out is actually just the same thing. All these things are manifestations of what this protagonist is going through. And in the intro to part 2, there's a voice that shows up in a very sort of digital type. It shifts between analog and digital because there's a transition happening. And he says the crime wasn't the dream. The crime was forgetting to wake up.
You have had that be your tag. Like, that was your leader into this a year ago, wasn't it? I mean, it's been a while.
Yeah. So that's the thing. And then he's going to be tasked essentially with like, which I understand is somewhat, I guess, biblical in nature. I don't know that that's on purpose, but we just, whatever. He gets tasked with going to Amnesia Island and being the guy that's going to ring the bell and shake the tree and wake people up. And he doesn't want to do it. And he refuses big time in the belly of the whale. And then he learns a lesson there. So, there's lessons. And I want to say, this is 4 parts. So there's going to be part 3 and part 4. We're going to start moving into the light. And I don't even know that it'll be Doom at that point. I don't know. Because part 4 is going to be the reconciliation point, the resolution, the coming into the light, the finally waking up, and this character realizing that he is not powerless.
Is there any chance it'll be power metal?
I've talked about that actually with my executive.
I'm trying to do a reference joke, but it'd be interesting to hear that. Yeah. But we're getting way ahead of ourselves.
You just said power metal. Is Sabotage considered power metal?
For me, yes. Like,
I love Sabotage.
Like, we're going to argue, we're going to start a lot of debate. For a lot of people, it's going to be like Man of War, that very operatic, very, where Sabotage, that was a whole different.
That stuff gets in there too, though, and it's okay. This is what I'm talking about. I've been freed from all that. I don't have time for that. I can't live like that. I can't do that. Well, I really want to do that, but if I do that, then they're going to think I'm bloody blue, blah, blah.
Oh, wait a minute. You're taking this way, like, dude, we just described almost, I think, the entire scene. Your generation of bands, of projects, which I lump in with bands like King Bastard, are taking very similar concepts and going like a totally different direction than you are.
Yeah.
They're a little bit more grounded.
Yeah.
You're not grounded. You're not.
No,
grounded.
It's coming. I mean, it's coming though. I think that's what's going to happen. I mean, that's what's coming. By the time we get to part 4, feet pretty solid on the ground. That's me. I mean, I'm on the ground now. I still got my head in the sky. You can do both. 2 things can be true, but man, dude, I mean, if anyone that's nearly survived death at their own hand, unknowingly, kind of like Rip Van Winkle and waking up in the forest and going, where the hell did everyone go? to overcome that, to survive that. Man, what a wild ride. And to be able to do that with music, wow. There's nothing
There's
like
also, I think, an analog here to what Bram the Bard is doing with Wizard Tattoo,
mm,
where the protagonist, you're going through, it's still a hero's journey.
mhm.
It journeys out, jury's out. Is it an anti-hero's journey or a hero's journey? That's that, like, I cannot sit here and confidently say that Nomad is a hero.
Good call.
He's just the focal point.
Yeah, good. That's a good call. That's a good
And you
call.
give a hint with the whole idea of the crime, the thing about being a crime. He's guilty of something.
Yep.
And is he still perpetuating the same outrage?
Yeah, he is on part two,
Yeah.
but he's also getting hints of like, I'm not a victim here necessarily.
Are you going to have the accompanying comic book or narrative
Yeah.
or book?
Yes.
Like now,
Yes.
I'm telling you, the one for Lamb Lies Down on Broadway was no help.
No, I'm gonna do that though. I know. Dude, this community, this
Mhm.
community of people that I'm involved with, man. I constantly meeting creatives and other artists, so I have someone that we're gonna work with on that.
Okay, if this is too personal, I'll back out.
It's fine.
Year and a half ago, you were in a dark space, dude. You were not happy. You were
I was working on it.
you were railing against social media on a regular basis. You
Yeah.
were so pissed off and angry. Was that because that's where you needed to be to put this together, or is this what got you out? Is this the antidote?
What's the antidote? Probably more. I honestly, I mean, I just, it takes a long time to break old habits.
Yeah, but you were almost fatalist, nihilist, like giving,
It came over,
surrender all hope.
yeah, it came over me. I recognized it in relative short order, I guess I would say. And when I say relative short order, I mean, it didn't take me under and just then become, like years of that. Yeah, I can't afford to live like that. So, um, but it's okay because these are all opportunities, I mean, Robert Rodriguez was talking in a talk with recently with Lex Friedman, the stones that you slip on crossing the river are all part of it. And so I was slipping on a couple stones again. I was kind of picking up an old narrative, and it's the victim narrative. And
Were
in
you
my case,
close?
what?
Were you close to relapse?
No, no. I definitely wasn't. But the thing
Thank you
is,
for that. Thank you for that.
yeah, no, I wasn't. Not chemically, but I mean, you can be a miserable human being whether you're, sober or not, if that's the thing that you need to do in your life. Um, and I was getting really dry, man. Yeah,
For those of you not familiar with AA, you're talking about the dry drunk, restless, irritable,
yeah,
discontent.
yep,
Yeah,
yep. Yeah, and the thing is, I'm looking for something to get that drip going.
right,
To
right,
boost
right.
the dopamine. And the thing is, so like as we all know, I mean, I don't know if we all know it, but most of us know now, social media um, impacts the mesolimbic dopamine pathway. And so for me, if I start looking at that stuff too much, if I don't listen to my inner Phil Jackson and I start looking at the scoreboard and then something good, seemingly good happens, and it happened to me recently. I've been getting placement on Editor's Choice playlists on Apple Music. And I got very elevated. I got really excited. And you know what? There's kind of a price to pay for that because when you go +5, you come down -5 to come back up to neutral. And so I just can't do it. Can't do it because the whole process doing things leads you in areas that you didn't even necessarily think. The thing is not necessarily the thing is the point, but I wanted to say I got very elevated like recently,
Yeah.
like, which is that bad? No, I mean, I'm a human being. I was excited, filled with
Yeah.
joy, filled with hope, confidence, fear too, and then overcoming the fear. And then there's that reward that we get. But I kind of crashed, man.
Yeah.
And so I was just sort of referencing that back to in that darker time that I found myself in
Mm-hmm.
with part one. It was just that thing. I was feeling very deflated and really kind of confused and like, I don't know what to do about all this. I don't know what to do about social media. Do I hire a social media marketer? I mean, is it too, and then this voice shows up. It's too late. You're too old and nobody cares.
I remember that's the specific post that I'm referencing. Because you were pretty angry. My argument is good. I never discourage you from being angry. Like I think we need to embrace and accept that what it is. We have to
Right.
let ourselves fall down and stumble and be a jackass.
Yeah.
We have to allow ourselves to do that. More importantly, we have to allow the people around us the same grace.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So was after Upon Whom the Last Light Descends Part 1, was there like a postpartum that you went through?
Oh, big time. Big time. Big time.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I'm afraid I'm already like a little bit. If someone was to say, "What are you scared? What are you afraid of?" Is that that's going to happen again? It's
Okay.
really, really, really uncomfortable, dude. I've put so this is. I don't have any delusions about what I'm going to do. I mean, I'm open to whatever the universe provides, but I'm not delusional. But at the same time, this is the greatest thing I've ever done for me. I've not felt this committed and this much purpose like ever in my entire life.
I have to like it shows through the music. It shows plus you did a lot of things on this album. Like you really opened it up to collaboration from other people.
Yeah.
Like as claustrophobic as this beast is, it's like your credits, the people that you worked with Scott Kelly again.
Kelly Scott. Yes.
Uh, I Marines, so I can't excuse that. Kelly. So you worked with Kelly Scott again. How was that?
Oh, my Lord. I mean, he's a mentor, man. He's not just like one of my favorite drummers. He's a mentor now. He's a friend. You know, he has long-term recovery. And man, like I have reached out to him at times when I'm kind of spinning out. And he's just one of those guys that'll like I think I emailed him once. I'm like, I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. It was just one of those things. Like, what am I doing? Like, you know, and he's like, who are you? Who are you? Who do you owe an explanation to? And I'm like, oh, well, no one really. Like, just that simple. Like, there's
Well,
just been
but
these real.
I I miss you. I love we can't go 2 years between this. Isn't that though the art? Doesn't the artist in some way seek to define themselves through other people?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love when I hear. I don't know. Make art for yourself. Don't do it for the audience.
You can't decouple it. You can't. I
You
mean, because
can't.
we are, I believe we are all connected. I mean, one of the things,
Right.
there's a track that's going to be on part 3 called Dethroning the Delusion. And then that delusion is the delusion that we are all separate. There's you, there's me, there's them, there's my music, there's my art, and just do it for the, that doesn't work for me. But these conflicts show up, and I'm grateful to have a guy like Kelly that and you kind of just get the edge of the sharp edges softened. Musically, though, Kelly Scott is a beast on the drums, and he's a metalhead. By the way, you wouldn't
Mhm.
necessarily know it from Failure, who I love Failure, absolutely love Failure, huge influence, huge inspiration. But Kelly is a metalhead, man, and it's worked out great. It's so great because he's got a jazz background. Then he's got the alt space rock thing that he does with Failure, and then he cut his teeth on Iron Maiden and Rush and a lot of the stuff I did too as a strapping young lad. So like I send him this stuff and he just knows exactly what to do.
Did you say
Exactly.
did you say strapping young lad on
Oh, and that's
purpose?
a great band, by the way. Former, well, they're not around anymore. That's another guy, though, by the way. Devin Townsend, big inspiration. I will never. I mean, hey, I'm Steve Kerr. I'm Steve Kerr to Michael Jordan, right? In that world, like I'm not trying to be Devin Townsend, but Devin
Okay.
Townsend sets a tone for this guitarist, singer, songwriter. Oh, show.
Can can you tell me a little bit about Pete Grossman? Like, so
Yeah, we have to.
you did the engineering and production for the most part for Upon Whom the Last Light Descends Part One. I'm
I
so
didn't
proud
do
of
the
myself.
engineering. I did no.
Who?
I worked with Teddy Thornhill out of Jay's
Okay.
Boutique in Chicago. I don't think Jay's Boutique is still operating. Teddy moved on to become a fireman. Um, yeah,
Less
he
stressful.
great guy. I mean, and really, really good. But Pete Grossman, I found out also after all these accidents. There's a band here in town called Horse God. And they're very interesting. They have a concept album called Giraffetron. And I was immediately pulled in by the artwork and, of course, anything conceptual I'm interested in. And I really, the sound quality was just so good, particularly the guitar tones. And then, I come to find they recorded at Bricktop Recording here in Chicago. And then it led me to Pete Grossman, and then I realized Pete's in one of my favorite bands, High Priest. I love High Priest.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, High Priest from Magnetic Eye. That's his band. So then I'm like, well, what? I got to talk to Pete Grossman. So let's go. And I ended up talking to him on the phone, and I felt like I was talking to someone I'd known for years. Very, very laid back and really, 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 really good at what he does. He's really good. He's
So,
other level, Pete Grossman. Just saying.
what was it like? Because again, I make assumptions. That's why I don't write. Or if you notice, I'm not writing much. It's because in
Yeah.
writing, I make assumptions and I put them on paper. In the interview like this,
Sure.
I get a chance to test the assumption. You are really holding on to the first one, like that was all you. On this one, you've let go of it a little bit, and you're
Yes.
letting someone else
Yes.
co-produce.
Oh,
What
100%.
was like that's just a different shift than what I would have expected from you.
Yeah.
What was it like going, "Hey, I have a baby, will you co-parent?"
Pretty easy. I mean, just because the thing is, I mean, in my life in general, and in the community of recovery, we need each other. And so I've learned over the years to lean on people. It's okay. Like, and it's okay to not know, and it's okay to ask for help. That kind of translated into this situation. If you were to talk to Pete directly, I don't know if he would tell you that he co-produced it or not, but behind the curtain, well, he did. I mean, obviously there's different levels of ways that we get involved in terms of production. You could probably do a whole lot show just talking about engineering versus production versus mixing. But the fact of the matter is, there are critical decisions that were made, seemingly not important if you were looking at it from the outside in. But no, they're critical little changes and shifts that were suggested specifically by Pete. The other thing is, dude. I basically just put my hands in the air and I went, you know what, dude, like, just do your thing. And him doing his thing means like these are all his guitar tones. This sound is Pete Grossman just being completely free to do what he does. And then there were some lyric changes. I mean, there were vocal harmonies that we worked on together on some of this stuff. And he's just really easy to work with. Anyone you talk to that's worked with him will tell you that's the number. I mean, this guy's just, oh, oh yeah, sure. Yeah. Like, and then like, how did you just do that? Like, how did you just do what you just did? It didn't even look like you did anything. And how did you do the thing that I was going to ask you to do without even telling you to do it? Like, yeah, man, it's wild. It's a trip. It's been great working with him, and I will continue to do so for the foreseeable future.
Then a little bit more on trying to get an old Eric Planka.
I was waiting. Gotta bring up the Plonka, dude. Okay, so I hope he doesn't mind me doing this. I don't think he would mind. So he is, for me personally, he is an all original, one of a kind human, sir, and guitar player. He was in a band called, have you ever heard of the band Yakuza?
Yeah.
Okay. So Yakuza came out of Chicago, fronted by Bruce Lamont, who many know of and sure many don't know of. Bruce actually sings in one of the biggest Led Zeppelin tribute bands, Led Zeppelin 2. That's TOO, I believe.
Okay.
It might be the number 2. But at any rate, I used to play shows with his band Dyslexic Apaches. I was in a band called Pineapple Man. And then we didn't hear from Bruce for a little bit. And it was like, huh, what happened to Bruce? What's going on with Dyslexic Apaches? And all of a sudden I get a call, dude, you got to come down here. The Yakuza is playing and it's Bruce and he's doing this crazy shit with his saxophone and he sings and then he screams and I'm like, whoa. So I go down to the Double Door, the now defunct Double Door, soon to reopen apparently, but not at its original location. And I go in there and Eric Planka comes out because he's in Yakuza at the time. And it was just like, oh my, I don't know what's happening right now. It was like that great feeling that you always like yearn for. Like, I don't know what I'm witnessing. I don't know what I'm seeing. I don't know what I'm hearing. This is absolutely other level. It's terrifying. It's, I mean, you got like this like crazy, weird kind of spoken word mixed screamy growly thing coming out of a vocal melody. And then the dude grabbing a baritone saxophone. And then you got Eric Planka. Now, at that time, it was the popular thing was hang the guitar down to your knees, and he's got his guitar up here like a machine gun, and he's
like him already,
and he's like doing that and making these weird sounds, and so I've been a fan from the jump. Well, then he went on to do the band Scientist, and Scientist is wow, well, Planka would call it audio architecture. Building layers of these sort of like repeating riffs that then slowly morph into something else. Really like Scientist. I did like a weird, I wouldn't call it a review, but I guess it came off as a review of their album Barbalith, which was also, it turns out, tracked and mixed by Pete Grossman. And I remember Eric had reached out to me and he's like, dude, could you do like a bio for us? I really like your writing. Well, it never happened, but I kept my eye on Eric, and Eric started coming out with singles, like one-offs. And before I knew it, I ended up doing vocals on a tune called Do Not Resuscitate, which is out there. Planka, PLNKA.bandcamp.com. I think it's streaming on Spotify too. And yeah, I just kind of went for it. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. He also bought part 1 from Bware of Gods and left a really very great comment. I mean, it meant a lot to me coming from him. I'm like, dude, would you want to play like on maybe a track or 2? And he was all in for it. He didn't do as much as I would have liked him to have done. But he did play on Temple of Thieves and the song Dissect at the end. And so to have him involved at all is just like, that's another like, you know, I mean, I'm not trying to be overly gushy. I wouldn't call it hero worship. I mean, we're friends at this point, but I mean, he's a guy that I've always held in very high regard. So,
Okay. Dude, I hate to say this. I'm about to turn into a pumpkin. Um,
cool.
I feel like we were just getting started. So what's next? What's on your radar? Are we going to get a live performance of Beware of Gods?
Yeah, great question. So the first thing that's probably going to happen is we're going to do something live actually out of Bricktop recording.
Okay.
And then
whoa. What?
Yeah, we're going to live stream something because we got most of my people that are on Bandcamp are international. So we're going to do a nice, very like pro in the studio through the soundboard, that kind of a performance very specifically for international fans.
Like King Buffalo has done, and Ritual King.
Yeah,
which,
or like,
just so you know, Ritual
does that, Audio Tree, like that kind of style.
Oh, I love Audio Tree.
Like that.
And Jam in the Van.
Yeah, so we'll do that. Obviously, it'll be recorded, then it'll be put on the YouTubes and blah, blah, blah. But in terms of playing out, yeah, we're looking at the three main places. I have an open invitation to perform at Livewire, which is a legendary place here in Chicago. So I'm going to announce this here. I kind of already did, but nobody watches any of my, whatever, the Facebook stuff. We got Trey Bogworth on board, and Trey Bogworth is in Faces in the Bog. Faces in the Bog, if you don't know who they are, get to know who they are. They actually did a remake. They did a whole remake. They remade Animals by Pink Floyd. And that's the current release that they have. They're doing a release show this June, actually with my buddy Feederwire on guitar. That's how I met Trey. Trey's in Black Road with Susie Uzi. Is that it?
Oh, yes, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
she brought me into this stoner doing Black Road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's in Black Road, he's in Faces in the Bog, and he is graciously willing, more than willing. He's pretty stoked, and I'm stoked too. He's as we speak, I mean, he's probably at work, but he's learning some tunes that I sent to him on bass. He can sing, so that he's going to be able to handle some harmonies or backup stuff. And he's also a guitar player, so we don't know what the future holds. I don't put people in a box. We may end up writing together, but he's a great guy, and I'm really happy to have him. And then I do have a drummer here in town, part of 2112 Productions, who I also met in my community. In my community, he's one of us kind of deal. He is absolutely amazing and a super professional guy, and he's willing to help out. So yeah, I think the first show will probably be at Livewire here in Chicago. I don't have a date yet, but it needs to happen. It has to happen.
Okay, my friend. I needed more time, but I was looking forward to this all week. You made my hell day a good day.
Yeah, me too. Thanks, man. We packed a lot in there. It's good. We did good.
We did. It'll be fun editing. So don't go anywhere. I'm going to go.